In a little more than an hour and a half, the Portland Trail Blazers will begin practice for round 2 of the Western Conference playoffs. They returned to Portland yesterday afternoon, glad to be finished with round 1.
I was glad the NBA moved the game, but you know, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad we won today. I'm looking forward to playing against Phoenix Tuesday.
If you haven't heard by now, the Blazers beat the Lakers 102-76 to clinch the first round yesterday in Las Vegas. Clyde the Glide had 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. The Blazers play Phoenix tomorrow night in Portland.
Still hurt or hobbling with injuries. 4 Phoenix players are on the mend, including Dan Marley, bum knee, and Tom Chambers, bum wrist.
I just have to try and put something on it so it doesn't get worse, but I can play with it. And, you know, as far as Dan goes, I think he's going to be fine. So I don't think that we're limping into the playoffs by any means.
And no rest for the Blazers and a week off for the Suns. Who has the advantage, Terry Porter?
Sometimes it's benefits, sometimes it's not. They could be rusty by not playing, not being sharp. But, you know, the thing that's in our favor is that we're going to be playing at home, and, you know, our fans are going to be behind us, and, you know, they're definitely going to get us up if we come in a little bit flat.
And forget that pay for per-view stuff, because tomorrow night's game is on free TV right here on Channel 6, commencing at 7:30, and stick around for all the highlights and post-game on Newsroom 6 at 11. Hey, is this George Wash? No, looks like him from the back. Anyway, our crack crew of technicians started getting ready this morning, and there's the control room. The Clippers had a 15-point first half lead in Utah, but in the fourth, Kenny Norman passed it to Utah's Blue Edwards, 81-79 Jazz. Then while camping in the key, the mailman plays low ball, and that did it. Utah advances against Seattle after eliminating the Clippers 98-89. The Celtics did anything they wanted, winning in Cleveland tonight. Chief Parrish went nuts. He had 27 points. Then check out the slick pass from John Bagley to Kevin Gamble. 104-98 Boston is tied at 1, heading back to the Garden. The 2 worst teams in baseball can't...
What Portland just did to the Lakers. After the Blazers worked out today, the Suns did the same thing. Their storyline is very similar to the Blazers-Lakers rematch. Phoenix now faces the team which knocked them out of the playoffs 2 years ago. And for them, while revenge is a strong term, it's close.
You get 3 of them here?
And now we're playing a team that put us out a couple years ago, and the fact that we played good basketball. We had an opportunity to win 2 games up here, and the first and second game didn't do it, and we just want to be more opportunistic this year.
In baseball, the Portland Beavers...
If you follow the Blazers, then you must remember this. 2 years ago, in Phoenix, the Blazers stole one away from the Suns on their own court to advance to the NBA Finals. Since that game, the Suns have been tough. They've won 6 of 10 from the Blazers, including 3 of their 5 meetings this season. If there is one thing you can count on in the NBA, it is that the Suns and the Blazers will give you some thrills.
It's going to be a classic matchup. They're one of the top 5 or 6 teams in the league, and you put 2 of the top 5 or 6 teams in the league, you'll have a very good series.
This is the second level, and I think we'll be up and ready for it. I'm sure the Blazers will be, and that's what I told our players. Our desire should be greater than theirs.
The Suns practice today at Memorial Coliseum. Nerves won't be a problem for these guys, but Kurt Ramos's follow-up jams might be. The Suns have proven that they can win in this town, but these are the playoffs, and they have to prove it all over again.
You really do enjoy playing the best team, and they're the best team in the West. They have the best record, so it's always a challenge when you go up against the top team.
We're a little different team, and they're still at the top, so we're going to be aiming for them.
Game time is 7:30 tomorrow night. Clyde would love to put on another show similar to the one he put on in Vegas, but don't bet on another rout. History has taught us to expect a war when these 2 teams go at it.
It's going to be fun. And in Salt Lake City tonight, it was the 5th and final game between the Utah Jazz and the L.A. Clippers. The Clippers came out fired up at the Delta Center, and Karl Malone came out ice cold. Only 1 field goal in the first half. The Clippers jumped out to a 16-4 lead. They led by 12 at half, and they led by 4 into the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, though, the Clippers went cold. Mike Brown gives the Jazz an 83-82 lead. Jeff Malone had 25 big points for Utah. This one pretty much iced it for the Jazz. They win at 98-89. The Utah Jazz move on to play the Sonics but they definitely got a scare tonight. In Cleveland, the Celtics finally got the old horses jump-started for Game 2 of that best-of-7. John Bagley steals the ball from Mark Price. Here comes the Celtic 3-on-1. Bagley flips it back to Kevin Gamble. Nice-looking play. Robert Parrish had 27 points. This guy, Reggie Lewis, had 26 more. It was 104-98 Boston. The series is even at 1, and the Celtics have stolen the home court advantage. The Pittsburgh Pirates...
The following is a Blazer Broadcasting sports presentation.
The Phoenix Suns have averaged 54 wins for the last 4 seasons. Their high-octane offense is keyed by Jeff Hornacek and Kevin Johnson. Their path through the playoffs began with a sweep of San Antonio. The Portland Trailblazers began their playoff bid against the Lakers and used a suffocating defense, strong rebounding, and a blistering transition game to easily win the first 2 games. Game 3 in Los Angeles went to the wire. Portland could have won, but Buck Williams' late drive produced neither basket nor foul. The Lakers won in overtime. Outside, the City of Angels was ablaze with the fires from hell. 5,000 buildings burned, 47 would die. An anguished nation watched in shock and tears. After a 2-day delay, the series shifted to Las Vegas. Portland was all business, winning by 26 and cashing out the Lakers in 4 games. 2 years ago, the Blazers and Suns fought for the Western Conference title. Will Rick Adelman celebrate again, or in his final season, will Cotton Fitzsimmons finally savor the taste of victory? Tonight, from Portland's Memorial Coliseum, the Blazers meet the Suns.
Sponsors of Trailblazer basketball are your area BP station. BP, on the move throughout Oregon. By Cellular One, the nation's largest cellular company, lets you imagine no limits. By the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it. By Coca-Cola Classic, you can't beat the real thing. By Payless, the drugstore worth talking about. And by GTE. GTE, the power is on. George Wash is the executive director and producer of Trailblazer Basketball, and J.R. Hellman is the coordinating producer.
Are you hot? Thirsty? How about an ice-cold Coca-Cola Classic? Delicious, refreshing, real cola taste. Ice-cold Coca-Cola Classic. You can't beat the real thing.
Look inside 24 packs of Coca-Cola Classic or Diet Coke for your chance to win 2 tickets to the basketball Tournament of the Americas. It's this summer's hottest ticket.
When you're on the go, when you're gonna win, French bread is to loaf with life. It does a body good, everybody depends on the good in every slice of French bread, the good bread. It's the loaf with life. There's a lot of life in every loaf.
I just got these back from Payless Drugs. Thought you should be the first one to see them.
Oh, please, not the office party.
Yeah, you and the boss's secretary?
Don't remind me.
You and the boss?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, you did?
Oh, promise me you won't show these to anyone.
Okay, but it'll cost you lunch.
Fine, promise me.
In Barcelona?
Oh, fine, promise.
Okay, I promise I won't show these pictures to anyone. In fact, you can have this set.
Oh, this set?
Payless, the drugstore worth talking about.
Frederick Miller's finest beer called for the finest grain. A search that often led far afield. It's an idea whose time has come again. Introducing Miller Reserve, an all-barley draft brewed in the classic tradition. Reserve and Reserve Light, beer as rich in taste as it is in history.
Steve, the Portland Trailblazers are like one of those great high-performance cars that loves nothing more than to get out on the open road and turn it loose. You and I are both old enough to remember when some states would let you do that, but it seems most teams in the NBA love the double nickel or speed limit 35 or 45. Only Phoenix and Golden State really like to run with the Trailblazers, and it must be kind of fun for Portland to get into this second-round playoff series and have a team that says, let's get into Kansas or Nevada and open it up.
Well, Pat, that's no question that play in the playoffs becomes more conservative. And when you're playing with Phoenix, who is a team that likes to generate pace, that likes to score a lot of points, you know that you're going to have an exciting series. And really the key between these two teams is which team is going to be forced to play out on the perimeter. So defense at the point of attack is really a crucial item for both teams. You know, the Phoenix Suns have Kevin Johnson, who is a great penetrator, and the Trailblazers somehow have to figure out a way to get the ball out of his hands. And on the other hand, Portland has Terry Porter, who can create some penetration. If he does that, then that changes how Phoenix wants to attack Portland.
It's Cotton Fitzsimmons' final year. There's the emotion and drama of that. And Phoenix also has won the regular season series in each of the last 2 years. How about Portland's defense against the Suns?
Well, again, they have to be the aggressors. You know, whichever team is going to be the aggressor is going to be the one that has the advantage. And if you look at Portland, when are they playing their best basketball? When they get after people. And part of their scheme will be, as I said earlier, is to how to get that ball out of Kevin Johnson's hand. If you can make him go backwards, you can control him. The matchup and the key matchups really comes at the guards. You know, Hornacek, Johnson versus Porter and Drexler. And both of those guys are going to have to not only defend well against each other, but they're also going to have to score well.
How about transition points?
Well, you know, transition points will be there if you can force turnovers, if you can have the defense that's out on the perimeter. I think that really both teams have to score. That's got to be part of their arsenal throughout this series, that they've got to be able to score points, but they've got to be able to score cheap points. If you have to play outside in, then you're going to struggle.
One of the big problems is kids. Kids dare each other to do dumb things.
They climb trees or fences near power lines.
It's not too smart.
Sometimes they even try to climb power poles and towers themselves.
It's dumb to take a dare like that. It's deadly. Won't catch me up there. I kind of like being on the ground anyway.
How would you like to have Jerome Kersey hanging out in your living room? How about Clyde Drexler or Buck Williams? If you're a Blazer fan and a Bank of America customer, this is your lucky day. For a limited time, B of A invites you to collect all 5 of the Playmakers limited edition collector prints of the Portland Trailblazers. Each print features one of the Blazers' starting 5, and the more accounts you have, the lower the price. Plus, proceeds benefit the United Negro College Fund. For details, stop by your nearest Bank of America branch.
I'm sure you work in an office.
8 o'clock.
What do you mean 8?
But you live on the phone, which is why you should know about Centranet service from GTE. With Centranet, you get the features and flexibility of the most sophisticated business telephone system. Not the high cost of one.
It's really, really difficult for me right now.
Because while you spend most of your time on the phone,
You hung up on him, he's gone now.
there's no need to spend most of your money.
Miller Genuine Draft, Bobby Ray Hall, IndyCar. This year, he's ready flying. The karma's gonna get you. Gonna look you right in the face. Better get yourself together, darling. Join the human race.
When choosing a health plan, it's wise to remember you get what you pay for. ODS Health Plan has the best claims payment record in the business. When you run a tight ship, you don't have to nickel and dime your subscribers. We keep our costs low to keep benefits high. In fact, nearly 93 cents of every premium dollar is used to pay claims. Of course, you could find a cheaper health plan, but how much is peace of mind worth?
With a 2,610-pound payload, a 5,000-pound towing capacity, and a powerful V6 engine, the 1992 Toyota one-ton pickup might just surprise you.
A new stereo or big screen TV sure would be nice. But the fact is, your clothes are dirty and your friends are starting to avoid you. What you need is a washer and dryer. What you don't need is to spend a lot of money. So be smart. Get an Oregonian and look at your choices. Don't worry, you'll find one, you'll buy it, and you'll have clean clothes. Not to mention, friends.
And now, BP, big play of the game.
A Kevin Duckworth big play jumper in a moment.
When you get BP Super, you get more than our highest octane. Like all BP gasolines, you get the highest level of cleaning power for your engine, which is why we can guarantee our gasolines won't cause fuel system problems of any kind, something you'll really appreciate during the spin cycle.
Try High Octane Super at BP today.
BP, on the move.
With the matchup in the middle, a huge factor in the Blazers' first-round playoff series with the Lakers, Kevin Duckworth sparks Portland by beating the clock as the Blazers crushed Los Angeles 101-79 in Game 2.
That's why this play was a BP big play of the game.
Filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Why can't it be wrong? If you're not on the Horizon Shuttle, think of what you're missing. With flights every half hour between Portland and Seattle, you're never late for a Horizon Shuttle. Just a little early for the next.
Kids and frozen treats. The more of both, the merrier.
And you shouldn't have to think about the cost. But that's okay. For 68 years, one store's been bringing you lower prices on a bigger selection of those special treats. For little kids. And big kids, too. Fred Meyer, for people who love great food and lower prices.
Imagine no longer being bound by the limits of your telephone. Imagine personal communication no longer tied to a home, an office, even a car. That's why Cellular One is building a new cellular network across North America. Imagine what that freedom can mean to you, to all of us. To reserve your number, call our number, 1-800-IMAGINE.
Tonight's game is brought of great food and lower prices by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm, and by Alaska Airlines, rated best in the U.S. by frequent travelers.
What I want is something dramatic.
We have lots of dramatic shades.
But not obvious. I don't want anybody to notice, but I don't want anybody not to notice.
Well, that's why we have such a huge selection here at Payless Drugs.
I mean, I do want to make an impression.
Oh, I know. Oh, well, how's this?
Perfect. What about lipstick?
Well, how much of an impression do you want to make?
Pretty big.
This big?
Oh, well, I don't... Yeah.
Payless, the drugstore worth talking about.
Why are so many people saying yes to Toyota? Because Toyota quality is such a great value. Like the 92 Toyota Camry. Roomier, safer, more powerful. Just 12 cents a day to maintain. Your Toyota dealers are out to get thousands of people to say yes to Toyota. With huge selections, big dealer discounts, great leases, and the year's best deals. Now's your chance to save.
Our Toyota dealer made it very easy for us to say yes.
Great. Can we make the new Toyota Camry a great deal for you?
Yes, we can. Come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on, let me show you where it's at. Oh, Miller Lite, I like it like that. Come on.
Miller Lite is the great beer that's less filling.
Come on.
It's everything you want a beer to be.
Come on, let me show you where it's at. Cold Miller Lite is saying that. Come on.
We could choose to match the Fred Meyer Jewelers price, but we choose not to. Yes, the Fred Meyer price is lower, but it won't come in a box with our name on it.
Ever wonder why some jewelers spend more time talking about Fred Meyer than about you or the products they sell? Makes us wonder, too. Before you make your next jewelry purchase, we invite you to compare our service, selection, quality, and price. You'll learn why our customers have made Fred Meyer the Northwest's largest fine jeweler.
To the dismay of many, there are only 24 hours in a day. So before you head off on a sales call,
Let me see the bottom. You can go in now.
before you begin to grapple with a business letter,
Oh, please change the bottom.
GTE would like to suggest a slightly more productive alternative.
I'm sorry?
Now, you're going to want to sit down for this one. The phone. Because if time is money, this is a bank.
Are your days like mine? Start off busy and then get busier? I never had time to food shop the way my mother did, and it was costing me money. Because even though the store I shopped had great ads, it seemed like I always needed the unadvertised items. You know, the ones that cost more. Then one night I went into Fred Meyer. I couldn't believe how low their shelf prices were. So I switched. And now I can save on everything I need, which makes my great food taste even better.
Fred Meyer, for people who love great food and lower prices.
It's been almost 2 hours.
Tom.
He was just going to the store, wasn't he?
No, Kevin.
He does this every time. He's your brother.
Well, you gave him the keys.
The Toyota Celica, rated by brothers-in-law everywhere as their favorite car to borrow.
I think I see headlights.
Heavy glasses? Lighten up. Thick lenses? Well, lighten up. Slim Light lenses from Binion's are up to 35% thinner and lighter than ordinary lenses. And right now, Slim Lights are $35 off with a Binion's newspaper coupon. Slim Lights come with ultraviolet protection and scratch-resistant coating at no extra cost. Up to 35% lighter, up to 35% thinner, and $35 off. Slim Light lenses in about an hour from Binion's.
In Frederick Miller's day, the brewery made a special beer and held it in reserve for special occasions. It's an idea whose time has come again. Introducing Miller Reserve, an all-barley draft brewed in the classic tradition. Reserve and Reserve Light. Beer as rich in taste as it is in history.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Bank of America. Ask about Blazer banking at any branch. By Toyota and their quality line of 1992 cars and trucks. And by ODS Health Plan, partners in sickness and in health.
If you're new to Portland, one of the first places you see when you come is the Visitors Information Center. Now that the playoffs are here, one has to wonder if that loss in Game 6 last year to the Lakers put a silence on Blazer Mania forever. It all started with Red Hot and Rolling back in the 70s. The rest of the world knew nothing of Blazer Mania until the 1977 team won the NBA championship. During the '90 finals, Chuck Daly was quoted as saying, "Portland has to be the sign capital of America." Larry Brown in the 1990 playoffs said, "As tough as the Blazer players are, their fans are twice as enthusiastic. No other city in the NBA lives and dies with their team like Portland." Will Blazer Mania reappear in time to help the '92 team battle the powerful West and the almost unbeatable Chicago Bulls? Experts say the only way the Blazers can defeat the powerful Chicago Bulls is if their secret weapon reappears, Blazer Mania. Maybe Blazer Mania does live in the hearts and minds of everyone.
The best measure of any health plan is the loyalty of its subscribers. At ODS Health Plan, 98% of our subscribers renew with us. Most likely because we treat them the way we'd want to be treated ourselves, with understanding, respect, and the highest level of care at the lowest possible cost. We never forget who we really work for. That's why people are so loyal to us, and the feeling is mutual.
The left side of your brain says buy something practical. The right side says forget that, buy a Ferrari. So what do? You buy an Oregonian. Look at your choices and find something you can afford. Don't worry, there's one out there, and it's perfect. You'll buy it and drive around all day with a happy brain.
Come on! Hey, what do you want in a beer? Come on! Do you want a great beer that's less filling? Well, come on! Then let me show you everything you want a beer to be. Cold Miller Lights, it's it! Come on! Come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on! Come on, gonna like it like that. Since we're talking beer, let's cut the chit-chat. Miller Lights, it's it! Everything you want a beer to be. And that's that. Come on!
Tonight on Newsroom 6, food stamp fraud and welfare cheaters.
I felt like there was something else I could do.
Making money on the side just to make ends meet.
Because welfare does not pay the bills.
What's being done to protect taxpayers and those truly in need?
Some we catch and some we don't.
And how can recipients learn to say farewell to welfare? Find out when reporter Eric Mason uncovers welfare fraud, an exclusive 3-part special report, tonight on Newsroom 6.
Now for a little lesson in style. Very nice. Very easy. Very cool. Drinking alcohol at your prom and graduation parties, very stupid. High school students with real style know how to leave alcohol out.
I'm Monica Spolstra, and welcome to Halftime tonight. In the start of the 1991-92 season, the Blazers established a special relationship with Lewis and Clark College. Here's Scott Zachary with more on that story.
Just because the Blazers play here in the Coliseum, people assume they practice here as well. But they have another home, and it's in a collegiate atmosphere. What do the high-flying, crowd-pleasing Blazers have to do with academia at Lewis and Clark College? More than you might imagine. The independent college specializing in liberal arts and sciences in Portland is the Blazers' full-time, full-service practice facility during the season.
We have a very veteran team right now, and the proximity to everybody's residence, to our medical facilities, and the fact that since we have a mature team that's a veteran team, the more time that they can spend closer to home, particularly around training camp, I think has been a real benefit. And then during the season, the ability to have a facility where you can have some privacy, set your own practice times, and have that kind of flexibility, really without intruding on the college's schedule, has been a very, very good situation.
It's been a good situation for the school as well. The Blazers provided Lewis and Clark with a state-of-the-art portable gym floor and portable baskets for both parties' use. In addition, being associated with the team has brought Lewis and Clark added exposure as well. Events like the intra-squad game before the season helped raise money for the school scholarship programs and has helped raise public awareness of what college in the 1990s is like by putting them on the campus.
I think it's good for the community. I think it's very good for citizens who are not normally around a college community to interact. And I think that that's good for any college, whether it's Portland State, a state school, or whether it's Lewis and Clark, just that opportunity for people who don't normally get around college-age students and around professors and around college administrators and around other college employees. I think it's very good for them to interact.
The team and the coaches are pleased with the arrangement and will remain at Lewis and Clark for the next 2 years. So the unlikely marriage of the NBA and an NAIA school that has less than 2,000 undergraduate students is a happy one.
All the way around, it's been a win-win situation. And the thing that I'm most happiest about is I don't think it's been intrusive at all on the college environment. It's been very beneficial to us to come into that kind of an environment and be able to practice there.
Even when the playoffs are over this year, it won't be vacation time for some of the NBA's premier players. They'll be busy gearing up for this summer's basketball tournament of the Americas. This summer's Olympic qualifying tournament will bring the famed Dream Team, the first U.S. national team to include NBA players, to Portland's Memorial Coliseum from June 27th through July 5th. The tournament will feature teams from 10 countries in North, South, and Central America, and the top 4 finishers will then advance to Barcelona. Tickets for the games are going quickly, and if you want to be on hand for some terrific basketball, be sure to order your tickets right away by calling 1-800-347-USAB. Ticket applications are also available at the Blazers office and the Coliseum box office. With his slashing acrobatic play, you'll often find Jerome Kersey in the spotlight. Well, here's a situation where Jerome finds himself involved in a very different kind of solo performance.
Ooh, baby, you got to just take it easy, man. You're working too much. Future thing, go to bed. Just fix that bump on your head.
After providing backup vocals for the past 2 Blazers music projects, Jerome finally got his own lines with this year's release, Bust a Bucket. With a little help from his teammates and members from the band U Crew, Jerome also sang backup to musical artist Dan Reeves, who helped record this year's song. Produced in association with Nike, the cassette was produced as a benefit for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Portland. Special thanks go out to Z100 for their help in recording the song. You can get a copy of Bust a Bucket for free by purchasing the Bust a Bucket t-shirt at Nike Town and the Nike stores located on Martin Luther King Boulevard, at the Portland Airport, and in Eugene, and at Blazers on Broadway. You can also buy the cassette separately, and in addition to these locations, you'll find it at most retail music outlets.
Imagine no longer being bound by the limits of your telephone. Imagine personal communication no longer tied to a home, an office, even a car. That's why Cellular One is building a new cellular network across North America. Imagine what that freedom can mean to you, to all of us. To reserve your number, call our number, 1-800-IMAGINE.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th. So, what are you going to get her?
Some flowers, pajamas, a book and a bookmark, a kiss and a hug. I'm going to make something for her. Chocolate, lots of necklaces, of course. Diamond ring, a pretty coffee cup, box of candy.
The perfect gift for Mom. You'll find it at Fred Meyer. Dads, bring in the kids Friday and Saturday for a day of fun, games, and great gift ideas for Mom.
Why are so many people saying yes to Toyota? Here we go. Because Toyota quality is such a great value. Like Toyota trucks rated best resale value in its class. A real value to maintain, just 12 cents a day. Your Toyota dealers are out to get thousands to say yes to Toyota. With a huge selection, big dealer discounts, option package savings, and the year's best deals. Don't miss your chance to save.
More truck for the money. That's why I said yes.
Can we make a new Toyota truck a great deal for you?
Yes, we can.
Gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. That being so stated, on to the job at hand. Please take note. Listen carefully. To begin...
Every one of these executives flew to this important business meeting on a different airline, sampling various meals, beverages, onboard services, and other amenities. Can you find the one executive that flew here on Alaska Airlines?
Plus 6.5. Divide the whole quantity by...
Tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota and their quality line of 1992 cars and trucks. By Fred Meyer, for people who love great food and lower prices. By your area BP station, BP, on the move throughout Oregon. By the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it. By GTE. GTE, the power is on. And by Miller Lite. It's it, and that's that.
The playoffs are a combination of luck, coaching changes, and team matchups. Luck, the San Antonio Spurs had none of it with David Robinson's thumb, and they're gone. The Golden State Warriors, they wanted to play anybody in the West but the Seattle Supersonics. The Sonics have bigger athletes, and they shoot better from outside. Goodbye, the Warriors. Now it's time for the coaches to step up. Coaching adjustments. The final four teams in the West are all equally as talented. It'll be up to the coaches to make those good adjustments. Speaking of adjustments, Steve, now that your Warriors are gone, do you have any new teams for the fans?
When it comes to networking with Apple computers, who would you rather work with? Someone still earning their wings? Or the company that's installed over twice as many multi-vendor PC networks as anyone?
We carry Apple Macintosh computers from the Apple Macintosh Classic to the powerful Apple Macintosh 2CI, each a System 7 capable and an excellent choice for business.
Computerland, your Apple authorized dealer.
Center court with Andre Agassi versus David Wheaton.
Nice shoot.
Apparently some technical difficulty. The network feed.
Genuine draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Americans seem to like shortcuts.
One reason Bank of America offers the Versatel card with every checking account. It lets you get cash and more at thousands of Versatel machines that are right on the way, no matter which way you're going. The Versatel card, the shortest distance between you and your money. Bank of America.
Imagine no longer being bound by the limits of your telephone. Imagine personal communication no longer tied to a home, an office, even a car. That's why Cellular One is building a new cellular network across North America. Imagine what that freedom can mean to you, to all of us. To reserve your number, call our number, 1-800-IMAGINE.
When choosing a health plan, it's wise to remember you get what you pay for. ODS Health Plan has the best claims payment record in the business. When you run a tight ship, you don't have to nickel and dime your subscribers. We keep our costs low to keep benefits high. In fact, nearly 93 cents of every premium dollar is used to pay claims. Of course, you could find a cheaper health plan, but how much is peace of mind worth?
One of the big problems is kids. Kids dare each other to do dumb things. They climb trees or fences near power lines. It's not too smart. Sometimes they even try to climb power poles and towers themselves. It's dumb to take a dare like that. It's deadly. Won't catch me up there. I kind of like being on the ground anyway.
Hello, Joe. What do you know?
Diet Coke. Look inside 24 packs of Coca-Cola Classic or Diet Coke for your chance to win 2 tickets to the Basketball Tournament of the Americas. It's this summer's hottest ticket.
I thought it was a pimple.
On your ankle?
Yeah, and then it gave birth.
2 pimples?
5 pimples.
No.
Check it out.
So what did you do?
What would you do?
Wear socks.
I went to Payless Drugs.
Good move.
It was, and Megan had...
Excuse me, Megan?
The Payless pharmacist.
Oh.
Recommended this ointment.
Let me see that here. For relief of itching caused by poison
ivy. Yep. Hey, what's that?
Where?
On your elbow.
It's just a pimple.
Payless, the drugstore worth talking about. In retail, there are 2 absolute laws. The customer is always right.
Say they were anchovies, they're anchovies, all right?
And the competition is always right behind you. Reason enough to have a GTE phone system beside you. Because we can show you ways to use it to be more productive.
Yeah, hello, sales.
Even get new and repeat business. Call us, because your competition is also watching this commercial.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Cellular One. The nation's largest cellular company lets you imagine no limits. By Payless, the drugstore worth talking about. And by Coca-Cola Classic. You can't beat the real thing.
How would you like to have Jerome Kersey hanging out in your living room? How about Clyde Drexler or Buck Williams? If you're a Blazer fan and a Bank of America customer, this is your lucky day. For a limited time, B of A invites you to collect all 5 of the Playmakers limited edition collector prints of the Portland Trail Blazers. Each print features one of the Blazers' starting 5, and the more accounts you have, the lower the price. Plus, proceeds benefit the United Negro College Fund. For details, stop by your nearest Bank of America branch.
We built the all-new 1992 Toyota Camry with many exotic materials, including the one you see here, the road. You see, by strategically placing thin insulating sheets made from lightweight asphalt in the new Camry, we were able to help keep something else out: noise. The all-new 1992 Toyota Camry. We just couldn't leave well enough alone.
Hey.
Huh?
You hear that?
What?
It's quiet. There's no coughing.
Oh,
What'd you give her?
Something new.
Really? Where'd you get it?
Payless Drugs. The pharmacist recommended it.
Well, that's what I call a good pharmacist.
Uh-huh.
Maybe now she'll get some sleep.
Lucky her.
What do you mean?
Honey.
Oh.
Good night.
Good night.
Payless, the drugstore, worth talking about.
Miller Lite is the great beer that's less filling. It's everything you want a beer to be.
I didn't think she'd come. I knew she'd come. Yeah.
When you get BP Super, you get more than our highest octane. Like all BP gasolines, you get the highest level of cleaning power for your engine, which is why we can guarantee our gasolines won't cause fuel system problems of any kind. Something you'll really appreciate during the spin cycle.
Try High Octane Super at BP today.
BP, on the move.
Fran's bakes over a dozen varieties of great tasting bread, fresh every day, which gives you as many choices for the outside of your sandwich as you have for the inside of your sandwich. Fran's bread, the good bread.
Come on. Hey, what do you want in a beer? Come on. Do you want a great beer that's less filling? Well, come on. Then let me show you everything you want a beer to be. Cold Miller Lite, it's it. And that's that. Come on. Come on. Let me show you where it's at. Come on. Come on. Gonna like it like that. Since we're talking beer, let's cut the chit-chat. Miller Lite, it's it. Everything you want a beer to be. And that's that. Come on.
For generations, bread has been an important part of every meal at the Riccatellis. And right now, while the crust is still hot, the middle full of goodness, they're not thinking about the skills and patience that go into baking their daily bread. And that's okay. They can keep on enjoying the food they love, and we'll keep on bringing it to them. Fred Meyer, for people who love great food and lower prices.
Jack, what do you want from me? You invested the money.
Well, I invested last year, too.
Okay.
Sure, you have problems.
Last year was last year. The rules have changed.
But the people at GTE can evaluate your needs and provide the right communication system and service so your phones won't be one of them.
Jack, I'm the only one left in the office.
Will it change the world?
We're accountants here, Jack, not magicians.
No.
Listen, Jack.
Just your little corner of it.
Let's set up a conference call tomorrow.
Gonna get you. Gonna look you right in the face. Better get yourself together, darling. Join the human race. Where we all shine like the moon and the stars and the sun. Yeah, we all
That's him, huh? Company stop salesman.
Numero uno. They say he can sell snow in a snowstorm.
Real Mr. Personality.
The guy is a dynamo.
Even the most important dynamic executive can feel downright unimportant.
Miss! Oh, miss!
On a bad flight.
Looks like he's been working non-stop.
Never lets up. That's where he's making the big bucks.
Next trip, try Alaska Airlines. We try to treat everybody like they're somebody.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th. So, what are you going to get her?
We buy my mom a big fuchsia plant for her porch.
She always picked out a dress she wants us to get.
Flowers and a card.
A wooden fish.
Get her a juicer.
Flowers, because nobody ever gives her flowers because she's a florist.
She'd like a gold necklace.
A nice dress.
Definitely get her a plant of some kind.
A big hug. Something small and light and unsquishable.
Well, she loves flowers.
The perfect gift for Mom. You'll find it at Fred Meyer.
record. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
What used to be done the hard way, today can be done the easy way. And the tough jobs can be cut down to size. Just as doing this can now be done like this. Roundup kills grasses and weeds in sidewalks, along fences, and in driveways. One squirt kills them, roots and all. With Roundup, grasses and weeds just don't come back. So instead of pulling weeds, you can spend your time doing something you really want to do. Nothing kills weeds better or easier than Roundup.
Are you ready for this? Amazing savings days of Northwest Ford dealers. Throughout the month of May, you'll get some amazing deals on Explorers, Aerostars, Rangers, and F-Series pickups. The Ford Explorer, for example, is the best seller in its class. And right now, you'll save more than $1,000. This could be the best time of the year to get an Explorer, Ranger, Aerostar, or F-Series during amazing savings days at your local Northwest Ford dealer.
Now, the Trailblazer postgame show. Tonight's postgame show is brought to you by your local Chevy Geo dealers, the Portland Trailblazers and the Chevy S10 Blazers, two proven winners. And by True Value Hardware. You can do it with True Value Hardware stores.
As we wait for our guest assistant coach John Wetzel, and I'm sure that he is as wilted and withered as all of the fans here were, as Portland wins by 2, they're probably talking about what can they do on Thursday. But it was a tremendous ball game by Portland down the stretch. The Phoenix Suns, of course, have struggled in closing out their opponents in close games, and Portland came up with some big free throws, some timely steals to get the win at home. Looking like they might have the first game of this series slip away from them, Portland answered the bell. And Cotton, of course, knows that it's very difficult to win in this building, and it will be interesting to see exactly how he responds on Thursday. Phoenix played a very aggressive game, perhaps one of the best that they've played in this building under playoff situation. More physical at the defensive end than they've been in a long, long time, and it looked like they may be able to come up with a big win. It was very, very interesting to see how Portland responded after being down by 5, but they were able to tie the ball game up. Fans here, they're standing and they're cheering. It'll be all of excitement for them. Signs all over the place, but no sign of John Wetzel. Well, John Wetzel hasn't shown up yet, so what we'll do, we'll take a break. We'll go do highlights and stats when we come back.
You can do it with True Value.
Get set for summer with spring values, like Gilbert & Bennett Cedar Lawn Edging for only $3.88. And renew your deck with a Hudson Stain and Preservative Sprayer, plus bonus Woodsman Deck Restorer. It's just $13.88. Then stock up on Cordite Tall Kitchen Bags. Get 80 drawstring bags for just $5.99 at True Value, the neighborhood hardware stores with national buying power.
Introducing the 92 Chevrolet S-Blazer, official vehicle of the home team. Starting at right side backseat, Johnny, basketball and scouting. Starting at left side backseat, Kelly, ballet and cheerleading. At front seat passenger, Mom, endless meetings and errands. And driver, Dad, on the go, rain or shine. Make a 92 Chevrolet S-Blazer the official vehicle of your home team. See your local Chevrolet Geo dealer.
Portland's Memorial Coliseum, and they're limp with exhaustion, Steve. You know, 2 years ago, the Trailblazers opened the Western Conference Finals against the Suns. They won Game 1 by 2 points, Game 2 by 1 point, and tonight they win by 2. It's deja vu, and we've got that kind of a series looking us square in the face again.
Well, again, the key in all of that is a win, whether you win by 1 or you win by 50. Certainly when you win by 50, you feel like you dominated the ball game, but the Phoenix Suns came to play, and it was an aggressive, physical game. The Suns have the rap of not being a physical team, but they responded, and they had a huge effort by everyone in a purple uniform. Drexler and company really never got a chance to get out in the open court and unleash that withering fast break. The Suns, with bodies flying all over the place, continue to turn Portland back, particularly at point-blank range. Portland had a lot of high percentage shots that just would not go in, and perhaps the tone of this ball game was set at the outset when Portland had 6 opportunities knocked away or missed. Buck Williams throws that one down with a lot of authority. You see his reaction. Jeff Hornacek and the Phoenix Suns now beginning to sense that you know, if they can keep the pressure on, they may have a chance to steal a ball game. But Hornacek, as good as Jeff Malone is at floating one-handers in, Hornacek may be better. Kevin Johnson had a big second half to keep the Phoenix Suns in control of the game, and long distance, that's where Hornacek is very, very deadly. A guy that was big for them in the fourth quarter was Dan Marley. Marley figured in most of the points at the top of the period. Then it was Kevin Johnson to come in to take the pressure off. Right at that point in the ballgame, I think the Suns felt very confident that they had taken the crowd out of it, that they had Portland feeling a little bit tentative about how they wanted to attack. You cannot give Hornacek that good a look at the rim, and that was a 3-point field goal, and the Suns and Hornacek felt, well, Cotton, we may get you that first win here, but they didn't get it done.
All right, and we'll come back and take a look at our final Computerland stats board. As the Blazers win by 2, we'll do it straight ahead.
You can do it with true value.
It's Clean Up America time. Start by recycling aluminum cans with the Crusher. It's just $6.88. Then take out the trash. It's easy with this Rubbermaid 32-gallon trash can on wheels for just $9.88. And break new ground with a Cervest steel hoe, shovel, or rake for just $5.49 each. At True Value, the neighborhood hardware stores with national buying power.
Introducing the 92 Chevrolet S-Blazer, official vehicle of the home team. Starting at right side backseat, Johnny, basketball and scouting. Starting at left side backseat, Kelly, ballet and cheerleading. At front seat passenger, Mom, endless meetings and errands. And driver, Dad, on the go, rain or shine. Make a 92 Chevrolet S-Blazer the official vehicle of your home team. See your local Chevrolet Geo dealer.
All right, let's look at our final Computerland stats board.
Porter out of the gate with 14, ended up big down the stretch to be Portland's leading scorer, followed by Drexler and Cliff Robinson. The Phoenix Suns had a huge balance tonight, and they are shaking their heads. They had 2 players with plus 20, Johnson and Marley. Chambers off the bench with 19. Anytime you get a team to do that, you expect to walk away with a victory. Drexler, the leading rebounder, Johnson and Chambers, leading rebounders for the Phoenix Suns. Look at field goal percentage. Anytime you shoot 51%, lock it up and say you're supposed to win the game. Big advantage at the line for the Trailblazers. A lot of that happened in the fourth period when Phoenix was in the penalty early to offset that huge bench advantage that the Suns had.
And a wonderfully active Blazer defense. 15 steals tonight, only 5 for Phoenix. Our next cable game, Portland and Phoenix. You'll see it live on Thursday night at 7:30. And, of course, I know you'll be joining us again for our next televised game. That'll be Monday at 6 o'clock. We'll be live from Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix. I guess you get the hedge trimmer from True Value Hardware tonight.
Well, hedge trimmer or not, tremendous ball game. Looking forward to game 2.
All right, thanks for joining us. As we always say, without you out there, we're nowhere here. Blazers win by 2 from Memorial Coliseum. Good night, everyone. Tonight's postgame show has been brought to you by your local Chevy Geo dealers. the Portland Trail Blazers and the Chevy S10 Blazers, two proven winners. And by True Value Hardware. You can do it with True Value Hardware stores.
This has been a Blazer Broadcasting sports presentation.
No price at Premier Tickets in Beaverton. They buy from ticket holders, tack on upwards of 50%, then resell. Out-of-towners shell out big bucks.
And recently, through a gentleman in L.A., I was able to get tickets for Diane Cannon, who, of course, was courtside here, courtside there. Just wanted to be seen.
And not everyone who buys is a celebrity.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, and here's a receipt for that.
And where are the seats so they know where?
You're going to be positioned right here, 2 rows behind the Blazer bench.
Karen Houston is giving Blazer tickets for Mother's Day.
I was willing to pay what they were asking for the main reason I know they go expensive when you have the playoffs. And she's never been to a game, and she's been watching them for 20 years.
Diehards will buy from Premier Tickets in Beaverton. It's a legal resale outlet because it's out of Portland city limits and not covered by the anti-scalping ordinance.
Are they all pre-done?
The intent of the ordinance is to keep scalpers out of lines for tickets. Warnings are posted at the Coliseum saying resale of tickets to events at municipal facilities is prohibited. But officials say scalpers are avoiding detection by selling through the paper.
They almost do it exclusively out of the paper. Well, scalping is scalping. You're having people pay too much money for a ticket. Just as in this last game with Phoenix, we ended up having to evict 6 people because they purchased stolen tickets.
If you are arrested for scalping, it's a Class B misdemeanor, punishable with up to 6 months in jail. But few scalpers are picked up, according to Portland Police spokesman Derek Foxworth.
The citizens would have told us that they would rather have our personnel focus on the more serious crimes, homicides, robberies, burglaries, and address the problems of gangs and drugs, as opposed to going out and arresting people for selling tickets at a premium price.
The Trailblazer organization tries to discourage scalping by threatening to yank the season tickets of people who enter the resale market. They also may lobby to help pass statewide anti-scalping legislation. At the Memorial Coliseum, Elisa Kaiser, Newsroom 6.
Once again, police say it is not illegal to buy the tickets. That's okay, but it is illegal to resell them for greater than retail price.
Supply and demand. In the finals, you may pay as much as $1,000. Some people may pay as much as $1,000 for a ticket to a game. No way. Now, Garth Brooks, that might be another one.
Yeah. Coming up next, no ticket needed. Ed Whalen has a press pass to give us the goods on the Blazers. His update just ahead.
Also taking treatment. We'll see how much they're affected. You know, the Blazers and Phoenix series is going to be bodacious, but there's another one going on now, too. The one between Utah and Seattle. Now, let's take a look at some highlights from last night. The Jazz won Game 1, 108-100. Blue Edwards with the 5-finger special, then slam dunk Jazz by 6 at recess. Third quarter, and the Jazz step it out. Stockton alley-oop to David Benoit, and Utah's up 14. The Sonics, though, came back like your in-laws. Eddie Johnson playing with a fall-away, and great day in the morning. The Sonics are up 1 after 3. But then the mailman went nuts. He had 30 points on the night as the Jazz take an 8-point win in Game 1.
A team like Seattle, you can't blow them out. You never will blow them out. And you can't get that attitude like you can. You got to take what they give you and execute and give up the ball. And I think we did that when we started making our little run.
We felt pretty comfortable. We just got to come out and play a lot harder. I think we didn't give our total effort like we should have tonight and be a little bit more physical and stuff.
Okay, now Blazers and Jazz interviews in our second segment. That and more in our sports tease. My partner, Running and Shots, joins us for a Game 2 preview as the Suns try and split town even Steven. Same story for the Bulls, but who would have thought they'd be down a game? And another spectacular crash at Indy. Oh, baby. And horse racing's Angel calls it quits. Hey, is that Larry Bird? We're hanging out with the big boys, but we'll be back in 20 minutes, or maybe
It'll especially be a 10 if the Blazers would come out a win and take that 2-0 edge as they head down to the Phoenix area, where it's probably just as hot as it has been here. Hopefully it will cool off inside here, not be as unpleasant as it was for the players and the fans and the coaches from the earlier game. One thing should be the same, though, and that is the intensity of these two teams. As Ron Carlson told us yesterday, in the games that the Blazers have won in the past with the Phoenix Suns in playoffs, never have they won by more than 6 points, so they've always been close. And the Suns must be confident. They did not show up for this morning's traditional pregame shoot-around. They did not even show. The Blazers did, but they practiced for less than an hour. But then what are these teams going to do? They faced each other 6 times already. There's not much change that they can really make.
I think that they play a different brand of ball than the Lakers played. They spread the floor, and they have good shooters and beat you off penetration. Most teams in this league beat you with post-ups and things like that. So they're a little bit different than the basic team in the NBA.
There's no question about in the playoffs, you play a more physical game, so therefore you're not going to get the kind of shots you get in the regular season. But on our basketball team, we really have to exercise a lot of patience and make sure that we move the basketball.
I would hope they won't shoot 60% for the rest of the series, because if they do, well, we might time for us to turn in our sneakers, because there's no way you're going to be able to beat the Phoenix team will shoot 60%. We just can't do it. The important thing is that they shot 60% most of the time from jump shots. That's different for them to shooting 60% at the layup, at the layup, at the layup. That's totally different. And
So it figures that if the Phoenix Suns don't shoot 51%, which is what they had, and the Blazers probably could really win this game, and I think that's the way the Blazers feel. Now, another point about the first game. Were you like me? Were you surprised to see Enos Watley go into the game as soon as he did? Well, maybe he was a little surprised as it turned out as well. Certainly there had been no indication that Rick Adelman would institute this kind of substitution pattern, and the reason for that is that even Adelman did not plan it. He was forced into it.
The biggest reason was Duck got in foul trouble early, and I brought Cliff in for him, and then when I brought Danny in, I happened to put him in for Jerome, so I needed to give somebody some rest somewhere, and I think that's just something that's going to happen. Sometimes we may rotate with big people, sometimes with small people, and you got to give some people some rest, and that's how that worked out.
And it did work out. Now, the winner of this series will face the winner of the Seattle-Utah series, and that series got underway last night at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. The Sonics had beaten Utah twice this season in Utah, and when Gary Payton fed Michael Cage there, they had the lead again. But Utah built a big advantage in the second half. John Stockton's nice lob to David Benoit here resulted in a 14-point Utah lead, but wouldn't you know it, the Sonics rallied. And when Eddie Johnson hit the jumper here, Seattle cut that lead to only 3 points. But they could not get closer after that. They saw Karl Malone score 16 of his 30 points in the final quarter, and Utah took game 1 by 8 points, 108-100. Baseball now, Kevin Mitchell hit his first home run of the season for the Seattle Mariners, but still the Mariners lost that ball game 12-3.
Seeing you again, what a game we expect over here in about 2 hours. They're about 2 hours away from starting game 2 at the Memorial Coliseum. You know, I believe that Phoenix will either come out cold as cucumbers or just angry as hornets, like I said in the first segment. We're going to find the mood of things, because standing by down there on the court is my partner, running Ann Schatz. Ann, what's shaking down there?
Ed, I think you're right about your assessment of game 2. I think Phoenix will be in a situation where, A, they're a little bit down, and they've got to come down from that 60% shooting in game 1, or number 2, they're going to be so darn mad that revenge, as far as getting back in the series, will be the first and foremost thing on their minds. But regardless of that, no matter how you look at it, both coaches and both teams are looking at tonight's game, game 2, as probably the most important of the series.
A lot at stake in game 2 tonight. A Blazer win means a 2-0 advantage, putting Phoenix in quite a hole. But the Suns believe that they're due to swipe a game at Memorial Coliseum, and they can't get much closer than that gut-wrenching loss Tuesday night. I mean, Phoenix shoots a sizzling 60% from the floor. Portland bumbles around at 39%, and the Blazers still pull it out.
the important thing is that they shot 60% most of the time from jump shots. That's different for them to shooting 60% at the layup, at the layup, at the layup. That's totally different. And, you know, for us, hopefully, you know, we have to, you know, continue to try to get closer to their shooters.
You know, you don't win many games shooting under 40% in the playoffs, and our defense and free throw shooting carried us the other night, but we're going to have to shoot the ball better.
Now, you got to figure that Phoenix will cool down a bit tonight, and that Portland shooting will come around. Regardless, Rick Adelman is sticking with the basics.
whoever plays their game to the best of their ability is going to win. And our game, you know, is defending and rebounding mostly. And if we do that, we're going to get in the open court. We know what they like to do, and they know what we like to do. So I think it's just a matter of execution. Whoever does that the best is going to win.
I'll buy that. Execution, that's the key. If the Blazers can pull that off tonight, Ed, I think they'll win game 2 as well.
Okay, Ann. You know, it's going to be tough. Cedric, come on in. Cedric Sabalas. I think, like I said, you guys are either going to have to fold or come out angry as Hornets tonight. What do you think?
Well, that's true, and it depends on how things go in the locker room later on, and then our emotions are high. We know we need to come out, at least try to get a split, and if not, show the Blazers that, you know, we are close in there. We can maybe win 2 at home.
How frustrated is this team?
We're not really frustrated. We play a great game, you know, with a couple of bad calls and Blazers being so aggressive going to the basket and getting to the line. We may have been able to win the game or maybe even pull it out towards the end. So we're okay. We just need to focus on what we need to do tonight and come out playing.
Well, Cedric, thanks for coming on the show. Good luck tonight, but not too much.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, the last score we have, the Chicago Bulls are up 4 points in the second quarter in against the New York Knicks. Now, what a series is that going to be? Who would have thought that the Knicks would have a 1-game-to-0 lead?
We know that this is the time to get our good basketball playing going and you know, move our intensity up a level. You know, don't feel so comfortable and so complacent at home because we're playing at home. You know, we got to play with that intensity as if we were playing on the road.
We've been successful all year. We've accomplished a lot, and I think the main thing for us is just to get down and play hard basketball, and we're just going to get after it tonight.
Now, believe it or not, we had another spectacular crash at the end here.
Always have great games down to the wire. Do you like those types of games?
No, we'd rather blow them out. But it's a very exciting 2 teams that are playing out here tonight. And when you have these type of teams who are similar, the games are going to come down to the wire, and hopefully we can win one here tonight.
Playoffs are a lot of fun, aren't they?
A lot of fun, especially this type of basketball where you just get out and run and a lot of open court stuff and tough intensity on defense. And when you go inside, you get banged a lot. So this is what you play for 82 games, and this is the funnest part of the season.
Dan, thank you very much. Good luck tonight.
Thanks.
Eric, you have it from here. Back to you.
All right, Joe, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you, of course, after the game at 11 o'clock. Well, other action, are the Utah Jazz tough at home or what? They lost only 4 times there during the regular season at the Delta Center. Twice.
Few fans are like the lady Ray Summers met today at Oregon Health Sciences University.
$4.
Lunchtime in a cafeteria at Oregon Health Sciences University.
We're going to beat Phoenix tonight. And then
At Lori Litowinski's cash register, there is just one topic.
Phoenix will go sit on a cactus. Thank
Lori
you
has
very
strong
much.
thoughts on basketball.
Okay, we're doing Blazer cheers today. Yay!
It doesn't matter who you are.
Hold the sign up! Yay, Carol! She's a Blazer believer, and see that woman over there? She's a big Blazer believer.
Somehow she thinks everybody is.
Heidi, put your face over here. All right. Yay!
Doesn't matter your station in life.
Dr. Newholt, come down here.
You either are for or against the Blazers.
We worry together, don't we, Dr. Newholt? We have had lots of worrying, haven't we? And lots of stomach aches, but we got through. So, what do we say?
Hopefully they'll get through.
Go Blazers.
Not everyone feels the same way.
Oh, see this guy? He's a Phoenix fan right there. I want $1 from him right there. Come and have your picture taken. Yay, Blazers! He paid me off in pennies.
During playoffs, she has turned the cafeteria into Blazer Central. Pro-us, anti-them signs, posters and autographs, and schedules of upcoming games.
Isn't that a small print? How do they read that?
Her favorite player?
I like Kevin Duckworth. I do, because I can relate to him in a lot of different ways.
A few games she sees in person. Most are heard at home.
I'm going to be watching my Blazer cable that's only the sound with the distorted picture going like this with my leg like this, and so I can see in between what's going on.
She is that kind of a fan.
See this guy? He's a Laker fan! Woo! Gordon, don't leave till I give you a Blazer cheer. Woo!
Ray Summers at large.
I knew you were going to throw something like that at me. They're handing these out, so that'll be the visual aid for tonight's game. But we have a coach's aide to help us through the broadcast before the game tonight. He's a familiar face because he helped put the championship banner up here when he was with the Portland squad. Now he's with the Suns as the assistant coach. Lionel Hollins is with us. What will Phoenix do differently other than try to win this game that they didn't do Monday night?
Well, the two things that we need to do, we need to cut down on our turnovers, and we need to do a better job on the defensive boards and cut down on the amount of opportunities that Portland gets. But the problem, Portland shot, 38% last game, so there was a lot of opportunities for them to get second and third shots. And we can cut down on those and get out and run a little bit more. It'll be better for us, and we certainly want to execute a lot better down the stretch.
Were you, you guys shot extremely well. 51% or whatever it was, and Portland, as you said, did not shoot so well. So let's pretend Portland picks it up a little bit and makes some of those shots. They missed an awful lot of layups. Does that concern you that perhaps because they shot poorly and were able to win, that if they actually shoot normally, it might be worse for you?
Well, we're both good defensive teams, and we expect to keep them in the 45 to 46% range anyway. So hopefully if they do shoot better, it'll only be what our defensive average is. If they, go off and shoot 60%, sure, we'll be in trouble, but we're not counting on that.
Okay, well, Lionel, thanks for joining us. Best of luck to your team, sorta. After all, we do root for the Blazers here, and we'll see you after the game.
All right.
Lionel Hollins, the former Blazer, now the assistant coach for the Phoenix Suns. There's one non-basketball note that we want to pass along. Yesterday, we showed you that harrowing crash at the Indianapolis 500 time trials. Rick Mears crashing, broke a bone in his left foot, and we speculated that perhaps he would not be able to drive. Well, wouldn't you know it, they're going to put a special splint on that, and he should be able to compete this year. But that is not the case for...
Used on any merchandise in any department. Smith's prices have not been raised from last week. So with the coupons, the savings will be spectacular.
And you can still buy with 1-year deferred financing.
Right now, today, during the coupon sale at Smith's.
Welcome back, everybody. The Blazers jumped ahead early, and then when crunch time came, they held fast and forced Phoenix to wilt. Kevin Johnson didn't start hitting really until the third quarter. He finished with 35, and Phoenix was right back in it after an early 19-point deficit. But that didn't faze Portland. As you see KJ go to the hoop. Terry Porter finished with 27 points for the Blazers, and so did Clyde Drexler. The Blazers guards maintained their poise when all heck was breaking loose. A 6-0 string down the stretch, and that sealed the Portland 126-119 win.
Games. You put the people out there and they perform the way we've talked about, and they win the games, and I'm just pleased with the production we got from everybody.
I think Jerome was really a factor in tonight's game, and you got to give guys like Enos, Watley, and Robert Pack a lot of credit. And nobody really expected those guys to play, and they've come in and did a super job. I think Terry's shooting the ball extremely well. Duckworth is being effective at the low post, and I tell you, when we have all these guys doing these different things, I think we're going to be a pretty successful team.
And in 7 minutes, we'll be back to hear what Clyde has to say about those other guys. Why was he talking about them? We'll show it to you on Blazer Extra in 7 minutes. In Chicago, same story. The Bulls even their series with New York, but only because of some late-game heroics, this time by B.J. Armstrong. Chicago scrambling to get back into this series after dropping the first game at home. They scrambled literally here. Michael Jordan scored 27 points, but only 6 in the second half. Chicago built a 12-point advantage, but the Knicks rallied behind the late-game hustle of Patrick Ewing. Only 16 points, 12 in the final quarter, but he couldn't finish it. B.J. Armstrong fed Horace Grant here. B.J. hit 6 straight points down the stretch, and Chicago won Game 2 to tie that series. In baseball, the Oakland Athletics won again, and Mark McGwire is the reason. In the last 5 years, no one has hit more homers than Mark McGwire. And in the major leagues this season, no one has out-hit McGwire either. His 14th round tripper there, and the Athletics won again. In Seattle, the Mariners were leading heading into the ninth, but they got into trouble, loaded the bases for Dave Winfield, and he launched his 10th career Grand Slam home run. And that was the difference. The ninth-inning salami propelled Toronto to a 1-point win. Elsewhere, Joe Orsulak scored the game winner on a wild pitch, and Baltimore beat Minnesota. The Kansas City Royals handed Milwaukee its 5th straight loss. Rookie Kenny Lofton hit his first major league homer, a 3-run shot, as Cleveland beat Texas. The Mariners lose on the 10th career Grand Slam by Dave Winfield in the 9th to win by 1. And Julio Valera recorded his first shutout as California beat New York. Former Mariner Bill Swift became the first pitcher in the National League to record 6 wins. Swift is 6-0, pitching a 4-hit, 2-0 shutout to break the Cardinals' 4-game winning streak. And the New York Mets committed 3 errors in the first 3 innings in their game in Cincinnati, and that allowed the Reds to build a 4-1 lead, which they never lost. Tom Glavine won his 5th straight as Atlanta popped Pittsburgh in the National League, and Chicago won its 3rd straight, pounding the Astros 9-2. Yesterday, Rick Mears broke his left foot in a nasty, harrowing accident during the time trials for the Indianapolis 500. Today, doctors say with special splints, he will probably be able to race anyway. But that will not be the case for Formula One veteran Nelson Piquet. Piquet had just turned a lap of 212 miles per hour when he, too, crashed into the wall. Piquet suffered multiple fractures on both feet, underwent surgery tonight. He also sustained a concussion. In hockey, the New York Rangers withstood a barrage of 50 shots, but still beat Pittsburgh tonight. They needed overtime in this Stanley Cup playoff game, but Chris King's centering pass deflected off the goaltender and into the net, and with that, the Rangers won 6-5 to take a 2-1 lead in that series. And the Boston Bruins took the first 2 in Montreal. Now it's do or die time for the Canadiens because they lost tonight in Boston. Gut check time. And that's exactly what the Bruins did tonight. Gut check. The Bruins scored twice in less than 2 minutes to win Game 2 3-2, 1 game away from taking that series. And Blazer Extra now only 4 minutes away.
I can't wait.
And counting.
Boy, this takes the pressure off the Blazers a little bit.
Sure does, but remember, 2 years ago, the same thing happened. They went down to Phoenix and lost 2. In fact, they got blown out in the one, so let's hope they keep the momentum going here.
Yeah.
See you in a minute.
I'll read fast so we can get to Blazer Extra.
Okay.
More news ahead. This lady has just signed the biggest deal in publishing history. The story next in tonight's Entertainment Report.
In the real world, we all want a lot for a little. Well, here's a real advantage from your Northwest Chrysler Plymouth dealers. The Northwest Voyager. Here's the lot. Automatic, air, rear window defroster, a driver's minivan airbag, seating for 7, child protection sliding door lock, and convenient cup holders. And here's the little. It's only $14,920. The Northwest Voyager. It's a lot for a little, but it's only for a little time, so hurry. Get a real advantage for the real world at your local Northwest Chrysler Plymouth dealer now.
What a day Tuesday was. I had more calls for my holiday bouquets than I had flowers.
What would you like the card to say?
I was faxing orders for some more flowers and taking calls for more bouquets at the same time. If I hadn't added a line just for my fax machine, I couldn't have kept up or had time to make sure every arrangement had my special touch.
Oh, that's perfect. Call U.S. West to add the phone lines your business needs. U.S. West Communications, making the most of your time.
Heavy glasses? Lighten up. Thick lenses? Well, lighten up. Slim Light lenses from Binions are up to 35% thinner and lighter than ordinary lenses. And right now, Slim Lights are $35 off with a Binions newspaper coupon. Slim Lights come with ultraviolet protection and scratch-resistant coating at no extra cost. Up to 35% lighter, up to 35% thinner, and $35 off. Slim Light lenses in about an hour from Binions.
In the office, it's hard enough to get people to agree on lunch, let alone what radio station to listen to. So on K103, we serve up a variety of great music, enough to suit everyone's taste. Okay, not everyone, but close.
All day, every day, soft rock hits on K103 FM.
In tonight's Entertainment Report, a look at the top video rentals this week and a multi-million-dollar book deal.
It's being called the biggest deal ever in the publishing business. Author Barbara Taylor Bradford has signed a $20 to $30 million contract to publish 3 books. Bradford is the author of A Woman of Substance and The Women in His Life. Actress Melissa Gilbert is 28, and the king of insults, Don Rickles, turns 66.
I'm a knight on a special quest.
Top video rental this week, The Fisher King, followed by Boys in the Hood, Deceived, Ricochet, and The Last Boy Scout. And that's tonight's Entertainment Report.
And here's a last look at our weather.
Okay, well, we'll see clouds in the morning when we wake up and much cooler temperatures through the day. By the afternoon, we may see a peek at the sunshine, but only 67.
Actually, that's average for this time of year.
It'll probably feel good after the last few days. Thank you, Jim.
Well, stay around, everyone. Blazer Extra up next with Lou Gellos.
And after that, Nightline. Thanks for being with us, everybody. See you in a few minutes.
They embody the spirit of the Northwest, these high school athletes of the month, by combining athletic skill with academic achievement. Now, one young man and woman will receive a higher honor by being chosen Athletes of the Year. Hi, I'm Channel 2 Sports Director Lou Gellos. Join me and former Dallas Cowboys head coach Tom Landry as KATU Channel 2 and Smith's Home Furnishings present the Athletes of the Year Awards, Saturday night at 6:30 on KATU Channel 2.
The Verdict and the Violence, Sunday at 6 on Town Hall.
Channel 2 Sports presents Blazer Extra, an NBA playoff special report. Now here's your host, Lou Gellos.
Good evening, everyone. We're glad that you're staying with us tonight, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about tonight. First, the Blazers won, you know that. They lead the series 2-0, but the manner in which they won and the way this game played out, really 3 different scenarios, is extremely interesting, and we're looking forward to bringing it to you. Joining us, as usual, Greg Smith. He's been there before. He's got an NBA championship ring to prove it, but he didn't wear it tonight. But the point is, you saw, as we did, a great game that really had all kinds of facets to it.
It had a lot of facets to it, you said, Lou, but one of the things I want to give a strong compliment to the coaching staff. I thought they did a great job in the latter part of the third quarter that led into the fourth quarter half-court game. I think they called a few plays to settle the team down because Phoenix was making a fine charge, particularly Kevin Johnson at Portland, but they did a good job coming back to make it even.
They stopped things, the coaches did. They said, wait a second, and they did it 2 or 3 times in a row there, really changed the pace of the game in Phoenix's disfavor, in Portland's favor, and that's why things turned out the way they did. But let's take things systematically, start with the first half highlights, and give you an indication of what really happened in this game. Portland was just off on a tear to begin this contest. Terry Porter here with a 3-point bomb, and Portland was on its way. In fact, this game had all the markings of a blowout, especially in the first quarter. The Blazer defense was extremely tough, and that gave them chances to convert at the other end. The turnover there led to a Clyde Drexler fast break slam, and they were screaming in the Coliseum tonight. Rebounding also early in favor of Portland. The Phoenix missed by Tom Chambers. There's Duck with the rebound, and here they go the other way.
Yeah, Portland did this very well tonight. Jerome up in the air strong. He had a good game, as we'll talk about later on tonight, because he had to have a good game because he has been a little sluggish in the last 2 or 3 ball games.
Cotton Fitzsimmons was hoping his team could come back, but he just watched the Blazers play great defense early. Cliff in to block this shot, not here, but here as he's going the other way. Phoenix just couldn't get anything to the bucket.
Exactly. We'll see this again in replay, how Portland kept their hands busy, stayed on the ball the whole entire game. West is a very strong player, but you see Cliff here, he kept his hands busy, came back, and the ball went out of bounds, of course, off of West.
Clyde Drexler talked in our news broadcast about the performances from the bench. Here's Danny Ainge helping to keep that momentum going for Portland. He had 2 long jumpers, and the Blazers led by 19 after the first quarter. But then in the second, a new ball game. Phoenix brought in some new players. Cedric Ceballos took it away from Cliff here and scored, and that cut the lead to 13, and they weren't done cutting either. When the Blazers failed to get back on defense, Ceballos made them pay again, and suddenly that lead was cut to 6. 43-37. Clyde had a strong game tonight. He was all over the place, and when there was a miss here, I believe Duckworth, there was a little hook. Clyde was underneath to tip it home, and Portland maintained an 8-point advantage. But Dan Marley was tough, as were all of these players that came off the Phoenix bench. There's a new name, Steve Burt, there from long range, and then the tip by Marley. Phoenix cut it to within 6 again. Hard to believe that Portland had been ahead by 19 at this point. But then Clyde came right back again, this time with a great pass to Terry Porter, and Portland took a lead of 56-49 at halftime. It was 2 different games even in the first half.
It was. Portland has a tendency sometimes not to stay on the ball as they should. They get a little lackadaisical from time to time. But also, I think we got to look at the fact that Cotton did make some offensive move out there, made some changes, and I think in that respect, it kind of took Portland out of their defensive game plan. They got a little lazy on defense, and then Phoenix began to catch up with Ceballos scoring and others.
Now, before we get to the second half highlights, one question. What did Phoenix do that got them back into the game after Portland was ahead by 19?
I think one thing they did, they took Hornacek and Kevin Johnson out of the game, set them on the bench. Thereby, the whole entire offensive focus of Phoenix changed, and other guys stepped up to the plate, and they scored baskets. And Portland took the other end. They
got somewhat lackadaisical.
Because Kevin Johnson and Hornacek are the guys that are supposed to score for them, and with that them not on the floor, somebody else had to do it, and he had 5 guys trying to see if they would be that guy, and boy, did it work in their favor. Let's look at the second half now. This is when it really got interesting because it was a nail-biter the rest of the way. The third quarter, it's a whole new ball game, and the reason is Kevin Johnson, KJ, all the way here, he cut the lead to 4. Then he blew by Terry Porter, left him flat-footed to cut the lead to 2. KJ canned 22 points in the third quarter. This is when Portland called one of those timeouts to set up a play, and this is that play.
This is the play, and they ran this twice in this whole series, and this set up their half-court game. It settled the team down, and they got into their game.
Here's a replay of another play, and explain what it is.
Same situation, cuts to the basket. This is a great NBA basic elementary play that you can run. It definitely can work. It's just a matter of execution. And when Portland does this, it brings them down, it focuses them, and they play tough from their own end.
And when Phoenix made a couple more runs, they did the same kind of thing. Maybe not necessarily the same play, as you see Clyde on the alley-oop there, but stopping the game to regroup, and it really worked well. Here's Robert Pack into the game now, and he fed Clyde, then to Cliff for the jam off the fast break. You think the performances of those two bench guys, Enos Watley and Robert Pack, were key?
They were very key because Rick had enough confidence in these players to bring him in at a key time and a critical time in the game. Because we're talking, this was a 2- and 4-point margin in the latter part of the third and fourth quarter.
Well, Phoenix is able to answer. Tom Chambers here looking to Marley, who hits the 3-point bomb, and Phoenix just wouldn't go away. The problem is, though, Portland was executing when they had to. An inbounds play here. Cliff found Duck wide open at the top of the key, and he found Buck cutting to the hoop. Another one of those plays that they called.
Another one of those plays in the paint, and it's something that's really critical for this team to look up to see the players moving to the basket, and they did that very well tonight.
And here's the icing on the cake as Cliff takes it in and sails in for the jam, and the Blazers have win number 2 in this series, 126 to 119. The Portland Trail Blazers now lead 2-0. Now, with all those facets of the game, there are some key points which you think are important into explaining why Portland was able to win this game, and here they are. Why they won. It's the bench.
The bench, terrific. They came in not necessarily offensively. The bench came in so strong for them defensively with Enos Watley and also with Pack doing a very good job. Offensively, they didn't get that many points, but they did very, very well. And the free throws went well, went down.
This is the defense. This is the defense of Robert Pack.
Situation right here with Pack and Terry in the corner and 2 points.
Yeah, because Robert Pack played 6 minutes. Enos Watley played for 7 minutes. They didn't score, but it was those kind of contributions which really helped spell the Blazers.
Exactly, gave the guys a chance to rest on the bench, which they really needed.
Second point of why the Portland Trail Blazers won, very simply, they were effective in that half, or the free throw line.
Again, the free throw was very important to them at this time. In the second half of the game, they didn't shoot the free throw as well in the first half. In the second half, they went down real nicely for them, and that helped a great deal.
Third point, I was jumping the gun, the effective half-court game.
The effective half-court games we saw in the latter part of the third quarter helped slow the team down, put them into some type of focus so they continue to execute the half-court game, which means hitting the guys in the paint, as we saw in some of the preview shots here.
And lastly, but not leastly, the hustle points, as you call them.
The hustle points. Those are critical points. These are points that I don't think Phoenix know how to get. They get these points by playing tough defense. You're looking here. You're going to see a second effort here. In second effort tonight, the Portland Trail Blazers came up with something like 25 points. You're going to see Clyde going with a miss, comes back twice, tips again, goes out and tips the ball into the basket. These are hustle points. These hustle points are called second chance shots. They're worth 25 points. Combine those with the turnovers, you have 45 points against Phoenix's 27 just in hustle, going back second and a third time. This is something Phoenix doesn't do well at all.
You were jumping out of your seat when we were watching the game. Let's reiterate this. Points off turnovers. Portland had 20 points off turnovers. The visitors, the Phoenix Suns, had only 11. The second chance points, which you just talked about, Portland had 25. The Phoenix Suns had only 16. So add those totals up. 45 points for Portland, 27 for Phoenix, and there's the difference in the ballgame right there.
A huge difference, huge difference. This is something that the way the Phoenix runs their offense, they stay out there, shoot the long jumpers. So it pulls 3 people out, 2 folks underneath to get the rebound. It just doesn't work against the Portland ball club because this team knows how to go to the basket. They know how to hustle. They know how to take that ball away from teams. They have quick hands. They have busy hands, and so it makes a difference, makes a huge difference.
Can you tell he's excited about this the way he's talking? Well, I know other people were excited, the fans that were in the Coliseum, and among them, Ron Carlson, who visited with the Blazers afterwards. Hi, Ron.
Hello, Lou. Well, I'll tell you one thing that Phoenix said that they definitely had to do in this ball game to have a chance against the Blazers was improve on 2 facets that they didn't do very well in Game 1. Number one, they felt like they had to rebound more. They out-rebounded Portland tonight. Number two, they felt like they had to get to the free throw line more. Well, tonight they made more free throws than Portland, 29-27, yet they still lose the ball game. One reason why Portland was able to pull it off tonight, number one, they shot the ball better, much better than in Game 1. 50% shooting from the field tonight for Portland. And another factor that's really hard to find in the stats, the fact that the Blazers just show a lot of real gutsy character when it counts in the fourth quarter. Danny Ainge touched on that. We'll probably hear from him on that because he said this team is starting to show the character that those Celtics teams showed that Danny played on when they won the World Championships. Another key point tonight I think we ought to bring up, maybe you couldn't tell when you were watching at home, but during a timeout when the Blazers were down by 5 points, Phoenix had their biggest lead in the third quarter. The fans, instead of getting discouraged, gave the Blazers a standing ovation. Rick Adelman said that really pumped the team up, and they came back out after that, got back into the ball game, ended up tying it after 3, and then, as you know, went on to win it in the fourth quarter. One guy who had a tremendous game tonight, Jerome Kersey, 25 points. He took 17 shots tonight, and Jerome said before the ball game he felt like, well, he had some new legs, that those injuries weren't bothering him. He said like he felt like he might have a good ball game tonight. Here's what he had to say about it after the game.
Like, you know, just got into the flow early and had opportunities to do things. Missed a bit, about 4 or 5 easy shots. But, you know, you keep working at it. Jump shot was falling tonight, which was good. But, you know, you keep working at it and good things are happening, you know, so I just kept after it.
Jerome told me before the game that he felt pretty good finally. That some of his injuries were not hurting as much and that he felt pretty good. So I kind of thought he'd have a super game.
Yeah, it felt good to get out there and play. I've been, you know, basically sitting most of the series and just wanted to come out and play hard, play defense, and that's what it did.
You know, you also got to give Phoenix credit. You know, they got bombed in that first quarter, and they just kept coming at us. But, again, we didn't break. I told them at the end of the third quarter, I said, you know, this is not a three-quarter game. They've had their shot now, and now it's our turn. It's our turn to make our move, and our guys did that.
You know, we keep playing like that in the fourth quarter and staying concentrated and rebounding the ball and making our shots. We're tough to beat.
It feels great, you know, but you got to give them credit. They play hard, too, you know, but it's sweet. Now, if we get the third one, then it'll be just as sweeter.
Talk about Robert Peck. One thing we wanted, here's our turn for some trivia. Now, before tonight's game, we mentioned that every time the Blazers had beaten Phoenix, it had been by a margin of no more than 6 points. Well, tonight they upped that. They beat the Suns by 7 points. So after 9 games, they finally beat them by more than 6, or 9 wins, they finally beat them by more than 6, guys.
Boy, I'm so glad you're on top of those little statistics like that. We'll get a chance to chat with you before we're done here. I want to pick up on something we heard the players talking about because we were whispering to each other at that point of the interview when Rick Adelman was talking about the gut check and the fact that they didn't wilt when the pressure was on. And that's something, quite frankly, Portland's been accused of doing in the past.
Yeah, I think Phil Jackson, the Chicago Bulls coach, made that statement when they blew Portland out up there in Chicago several weeks back. And this isn't true about that ball club. This ball club will not wilt. They will not go away. They know the heart of hustle, and they'll stay active. The reason they lost to Chicago is probably a lot of reasons. They didn't play well. They didn't shoot well. So, again, it's not true. This ball club is going to stay in there and fight as hard as they possibly can to win a ball game.
And they certainly did tonight. When the pressure was on, when the burners were turned on high, they were able to turn it back. We've discussed that hustle play and talking about the statistics of this game. Let's check some more of those team results as they relate to this particular ball game. First, the bench scoring. Phoenix led in this category after the first game and lost, and they lead in this category in the second game and lost. Bench scoring, I guess, is not as important, but the play of the bench tonight in a non-scoring sense was extremely important for the Blazers, and it benefited them in this game. Turnovers. Once again, Portland was able to take advantage of turnovers that Phoenix had. 18 for Phoenix, only 11 for Portland. Shooting percentages markedly different in this game. Portland finally getting it back to normal. They were below 40% in Game 1, and the Suns are down a bit from last time.
You got to compliment the fact that we know that the Suns only shot like 29% in the first half, and they came back very, very well in the third quarter. In the third quarter, where they wound up shooting something like 44% and now shooting Portland. But then again, there was only one player doing that, and that was Kevin Johnson. I think he scored like the first 13 points of the third quarter for Phoenix, with a man only having 2 points in the whole first half. He came on strong. He did some things against Portland. Portland had a hard time closing it down, but eventually Kevin burned a little bit, and I think he kind of got tired quite early, so consequently it made a difference in the fourth quarter.
Well, and he can't do it alone, and he was forced to tonight, as we're going to see as we check the position play matchup. Graphic that we have that breaks down just the guard scoring, and look at the bottom right. Jeff Hornacek only scored 6 points in this ball game. He had none in the second half. And when Porter and Drexler are lighting up for 27, Johnson can have 50, and it's not going to make any difference unless he gets some help.
He has to get some help from Hornacek. I don't know why he's not scoring. It's very difficult to say. Is it the defense that Portland's playing on? I don't know. But somehow he's not getting in the position to get the shots off, and it's creating a problem for him. It's very frustrating. They set him down in the in the second quarter for the most part and let the other team play. Other guys play, pardon me, and they made a big, big difference in the outcome of the game in the second quarter for Phoenix. Hornacek has not been shooting well. I'm sure they're going to talk about this tonight, watch videos, and go through what they need to go through. And he'll be back in his home base for Saturday's game. So I look for Hornacek to get off a little earlier than what he has been doing up here.
Okay, here's our next graphic as we check these team totals. This is the individual result from the Blazers side. We've already mentioned Terry Porter and Clyde Drexler with the 27 points. There's 13 assists by Clyde. Jerome Kersey, finally we get a chance to talk about that. You heard the players alluding to it. You heard Ron Carlson mention it. 25 points from Jerome and 9 rebounds.
Tremendous. Jerome, we need games like this out of him. Last year, he led the team in points scored in the playoff early part of the season. So this is important that he gets off. The thing that we had tonight was balanced scoring. We had 6 guys in double figures, the lowest one being only 12 points, the rest being 13, 27, on and so forth. But we had 6 guys. I think Phoenix only had like 3 players in double figures, so that makes a huge difference.
Well, let's check and see what they did. There it is. KJ leading the way. No surprise there. Sabalos with 20. Marley came off the bench to score the 19 points. Tom Chambers with 11. And, boy, you just can't punch that last one enough. Jeff Hornacek really has had some problems here in the first 2 games of the series. And if Phoenix is to turn this one around, let's hope they don't. But if they are, they're going to have to look to him a little bit, I would think.
Well, I hope they keep the thumb on his head and it doesn't get off, because we know this young man can shoot the ball, and we just need to stay tough on him, and I think we can. We know the importance of not allowing him to score and being a factor, and I think Portland will continue to look at the video and keep doing the things they've been doing on this young man to keep him from scoring.
I can't move on to the Coliseum without mentioning the fact that Kevin Johnson, after Game 1, said it was a really hard loss to take, the one they lost the other night. Well, he had to take another one tonight, and Jerry Murphy, as usual, is with the Phoenix Suns to find out how they could take this one. I imagine KJ is equally as devastated.
They all are, Lou. What you see here is a maddening pattern taking shape. Another game where they have a terrible start, the Phoenix Suns do. They give up a 30-8 run to end the first quarter. They're down by 19 points at the end of one period, but then they come back like gangbusters. Shoot 60% in the second quarter, again in the third quarter, but at crunch time in the fourth quarter, things just do not happen for them. They shot 29% in the final period. They turned the ball over 5 times. They just did not get the job done. They know the fault lies with them, and frankly, they're very frustrated about it. Now let's hear it in their own words.
Well, I think the main thing is we're battling back. You know, we need to start out and jump on them early in the game. We haven't had good starters to the basketball game. We fight like crazy and get back in it and play pretty well, and then lose a little bit at the end. You know, I think the main thing is we need to start after and get on top of them and make them play from behind. You know, behind a little bit, and it'll make it a little bit tougher on them.
We fought back and did a good job to get back in the ball game and actually took the lead. And you know, just the fourth quarter, they just came down and did some things right, got the fast break going, and just played an excellent fourth quarter. And you know, we just got to regroup, and this series is not over. We got to go back home, take care of Game 3 and then Game 4, and then come right back here again.
We had to battle back to just catch them, and you know, against a good team, you can't let them get ahead by that much, because you use your energy trying to just catch them instead of you know, playing even with them and then getting on a spurt, and then you got a nice lead. So we probably just ran out of it.
Home court for now. That's our trick. We got to go home and take care of that. And I think that if we do that and get a little more confidence, I think we'll have some momentum rolling into Game 5. But, I mean, you know, we can't just think that our home court is going to protect us. This team is a very good ball club, and I know they're going to play their hearts out, try to win one of those games in Phoenix, especially the first one.
They are looking back. They're looking very forward to getting back home to Phoenix. And one thing we kept hearing again and again, they've got to have better starts in these ball games. They can't afford to keep falling behind and depending on coming back the way they did these first 2 games. They need a more consistent effort from start to finish if they're going to have a chance. Lou?
Okay, Jerry, thank you very much. We'll be back with you and Ron for final comments in just a moment. We want to, well, first of all, you want to react to what you heard the Phoenix Suns say.
They're exactly right. They had a 19-point deficit, and then they cut it down to about a 7-point deficit somewhere in the second quarter, and then they move into the third quarter. This is when KJ went to work, and Portland was outscored 39-33 or something like that in the third quarter. You have to work awful hard, scoring like on a ratio of like 2 to 3 to 1 to Portland's basket each time down. It's very difficult to do, to play defense and to score at the same time. It takes its toll, and I think that is what happened to Kevin in the third quarter, and he didn't show up at all in the fourth quarter. I do not recall seeing him shoot no more than 2 jump shots in the whole entire fourth quarter. And, folks, that's very difficult when your main gun cannot get off. It makes it tough.
Well, we're going to get another chance to see their main gun and Portland's main guns as well. That comes with the next game in Phoenix, and that game will be 12:30 on Saturday. And then a special time here, so tell your friends this is new. The game's at 12:30, but here on Channel 2, we'll be back with another edition of Blazer Extra at 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, that's our Channel 2 newscast following the game. 6 o'clock here on Channel 2 for Blazer Extra. Greg will be sitting in the hot seat right here. And Jerry Murphy will be sitting right here. And Ron Carlson will be in Phoenix. They're both at the Coliseum with the last thought before we leave you tonight.
Our last chance to be together, Jerry, so let's enjoy it for a while. Okay.
You go ahead. Start off.
One thing I think is really important right now is the fact that the Blazers are getting great performances from all 5 of their starters, and the bench as well. The Suns, 2 of their starters tonight come through. If you don't have everybody operating for the Suns, I don't see them having a chance to win. They've got to get more than just KJ and Ceballos going down in Phoenix.
You're right about that, but I also think it's important and significant that they finally freed up KJ tonight to get some working room in the paint. And I think that happened when they went to the small lineup, when they used Eddie Neely at center, when they left Andrew Lang and Mark West on the bench. That worked for a while, but maybe in the long run that would hurt them, cost them some rebounding. But look for him to try it again.
Another thing about Ed Neely, here's a big guy, normally inside. He takes 5 shots tonight, all of them outside from 3-point range. So what an incredible player he was, and he really did a good job opening things up for KJ.
He's a winner. I saw Eddie Neely play a lot in college, and he always found a way. He's a resourceful ball player.
He really is. Well, that's it from down here. We had a great time enjoying the ball game tonight. Again, I think the fans played a big part in this one in the third quarter when they gave them that standing O and really got the Blazers turned around. But, of course, they got to do it on the court, and the Blazers are showing a lot of character in these first 2 ball games.
7, the big number, as Ron said. They win by 7 points, and that's the widest margin of victory that the Blazers have ever had over the Phoenix Suns in the playoffs. And since the Blazers lost 3 of 5 games to the Phoenix Suns in the regular season, that ledger with this ball game has now tilted. After 7 games, the number again, Portland now has won 4 times. Phoenix has won only 3 times, and now all Portland has to do is win 2 more, and this baby's over.
It's over, and we hope they can do it. It's going to be very, very tough down in Phoenix. They're going to have the fans down there. They're going to have their own hoops to shoot at. They're going to have their own floor to run on. So they owe this team a win. They owe their fans a win against Portland. But Portland is a very calm team. They're a veteran team. They have been in the playoffs the last 4 years. They know how to play in the playoffs. They're not going to take it lightly. They'll play hard and make Phoenix beat them. And Phoenix is going to have to hustle. And this is something I don't think they do very well. This club hustles if they're not scoring. They hustle.
Okay, Greg, we'll see you on Saturday. That's when the next game is. The Blazers will work out tomorrow in Phoenix. They'll leave early in the morning, fly down to the Valley of the Sun, and then get it on Saturday. We'll be back with our another edition of Blazer Extra at 6 o'clock on Saturday. Until then, for Ron Carlson and Jerry Murphy at the Coliseum and Greg Smith here, good night, everybody. Thanks for staying up with us.
Tomorrow on AM Northwest, watch Best.
But there I was, just the same, playing pro and finding fame. Dip to the well, scoop to the top. Porter said, man, don't pass off. Halftime, about time, rest my bite. Have a little chat with a Ahmad Rashad. I feel pretty good, man, that's the truth. I'll tell you more later when I stop by the booth. Showtime, fully fantastic, positively Portland, slam bombastic. Crowd was stomping, then they screamed. But that one thing coach said kept me guessing. What's that word, man? Now I'm stressing. I got the good part. Kick it a couple times and let me think about it.
Every year at this time, thousands of people in Oregon and Southwest Washington get the fever. Not spring fever, blazer fever.
Elisa Kaiser takes us to tonight's Trailblazer game where she found fans with a flaming case of Blazer mania.
If you play it, they will come.
and get excited about being there. Pom-poms in hand, they crammed the Memorial Coliseum. Will this fan lose face when the series is over? He thinks not. There were hair-raising moments for this guy. You have a special hairstyle tonight.
I did it just for the Blazers. It took me 3 hours. That's his real hair. It is. 2 cans of hairspray. I had to do it, you know, a special occasion.
And hats were the order of the day for Rip City maniacs. Here's a Blazer beret and a dunk shot top hat. This man made his own, and this one put a little time and energy into her haberdashery. Notice the sun and stars. When the sun goes down, the stars come out. Sure, we found fans that were wild and crazy. We also found the old and the young, and we mean really young. Zach Frazier is 3 weeks old. Mom and Dad did bring earplugs for his newborn ears. And check out 3-year-old Justin Reeves.
He's been coming for a couple of years to the playoffs. He actually fell asleep during the playoffs last year or the year before last.
This year, Justin will stay awake until the Blazers are world champions. Elisa Kaiser, Newsroom 6.
And they will do it again Thursday night.
It's exciting, isn't it?
It is. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night.